Right, what's going on, everybody? My name is TerminuS, and today we are going to react to Jujutsu Kaisen, episodes 9 and 10, double episode. I did that on another reaction of mine. I don't know if it came out yet, probably not. But episode 9 and 10, we're gonna try this double episode thing, see if it works out. Last time when I recorded it actually worked out pretty well. Here's how it's gonna go really quick. We're gonna talk a little bit about episode 8 for a short period, then we're going to jump over, we're going to watch episode 9. The usual stuff's going to be in the description down below, and the edited one is going to be right here, and then we have a little interlude where we talk a little bit about episode 9 and what I can immediately tell, then we jump into episode 10, watch episode 10, and then we talk about both of them. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's get into JJK episode 8 for a second and see what actually happened. Before that, by the way, I do have a new mic setup. You probably see it over here. I just turned it upside down, seeing if that works a little bit better in terms of like the sound quality. If you do notice any like background noises that are higher, or if you do think that the voice is actually better at this point, do let me know. But yeah, let's see what happened last time. We did meet the classmates. We did actually meet Maki and Panda and forgot his name, like Bonito Flakes dude. We met them previously already, but now we've actually been meeting somebody from a different school. So very interesting. Mai seems to be the twin sister of Maki, but at the same time seems to be in a different school. I do wonder what that's about. We did also get to know a little bit something about the fact that Maki is actually not really sensitive for this whole curse stuff. She can't see any curses without her glasses. She can't create any or control any cursed energy, so because supposedly all humans have cursed energy because they come from emotions. So very interesting to learn that she's just I guess she was born into a family that was already involved with all of that jujutsu stuff, and she and her sister made it a point to be like, you know what, I'm gonna show them all. I mean, her sister supposedly probably can see cursed energy if we go by the fact that she doesn't have glasses, and that she has, like, I think she infuses bullets or whatever weapon she has with cursed energy. We learn more and more about how different people use this system. We have like this light magic system that we have in different ways, which is really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of all of the key talk when it comes to Asian culture, especially also Japanese culture, the energy of the mind, the energy of the spirit, willpower, and your ability to control your emotions, and let them loose when you need to, but in a controlled manner, rein them in when you need to. I mean, we had the same thing with Gojo when he taught Yuji how to keep his flow of cursed energy constant. Yeah, and the two of them here have already learned that, and our upperclassmen have too. I don't remember his name. Maybe I'll let me just put up those. Because he's been like a notorious guy, right? And she talks about Vessel. I find it interesting that she's like, she's a little bit sadistic when it comes to, or supposedly, right? She's smiling, she's all like, but yeah, for them, Skuna's vessel was just Skuna's vessel, right? It wasn't a person. They didn't really put that into mind, right? It was somebody they heard about that they didn't meet personally. It didn't like, obviously, if you're a person who is very sensitive and empathetic, you're probably gonna be aware that this is a human being you're talking about, and even empathizing with them, even if you don't know much about them. But that's not everyone, right? And as long as you, in your head, do not consider somebody to be human, and as long as that person isn't humanized within your point of view, it makes sense that they would talk about it in that way, because it brings up a lot of difficulties, right? Because there's a huge pool of power that is now walking around your school that could break out at any time and give you major trouble. maybe even cost your comrades your life, so it makes sense. I'm only here to see if these guys are fit to take Okotsu's place. Interesting that Okotsu, who's supposedly a second year, who we haven't met yet, is... I do wonder if he's the one that we saw at the end of the episode. Interesting that he's talking like Okotsu is not gonna be in the tournament, so very interesting. We do have that little... Of course, everybody needs somebody who is super quirky and whatnot, and we do have that, like, what kind of woman do you like talk, and he's... Those faces say it all. They're not impressed, they're really annoyed. But yeah, he's one of those people, and I mean, I don't mind it at all, to be honest. You sometimes, like, you need all kinds of people. Variety is always great. And I do wonder what dynamic he brings to the eventual tournament that we're probably gonna see, that we've been building up to. What's his name? Because I didn't see it. Alright, he was Todo. Okay, Todo. We have Geto, who is like the curse user dude that we know, kind of like this passive trickle of information that we're getting of all of the things we didn't know about. I do really like if a series, like when a series does it like this, that they trickle in the information, not give you huge exposition dumps, but they're like, oh, there's this thing and there's this thing, and you actually need to pay attention to be like, oh wait, that got mentioned before, and make the connection. And you don't always, which makes for... It's not a problem in my opinion, because if you don't, right, if you haven't retained that information, it makes for an amazing surprise, and you then the things clicking in your head, and you're like, oh yes, that's true. And if it's not, if you actually detected all of that stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I knew it. I knew there was something. So I really like that. And we have the second classman of our school kind of protecting, right? We're like... like, yeah. I like that where Panda was like, me Panda, I mean, not understand human language. I'm like, okay, dude. You're just trolling him. And Nobara is very smart, right? She knows that it's gonna be difficult, so she's gonna stay down and wait what Mai is doing here, and Maki actually confronts her, and then Nobara is like, my time to strike. There you go, bitch. But yeah. We have that little tidbit with him being a total, like, idol otaku, and Nobara actually getting to know a little bit more about Maki, and starting to admire her, which is great. That is an amazing shot. She is very, very beautiful. Yeah, and her attitude is amazing. So yeah, and we have that little talk between Gojo and whoever. I don't want to look it up forever now, but however he's called, one of the elders here who is leading the other school. He's like, dude, look, Principal Gakuganji, that is a name. Yeah, he's like, dude, look, stop with this bullshit, with these fucking politics. We're gonna have enough trouble. I met like a curse, an incarnated curse who can talk, and like our recruits are getting stronger and stronger now, potentially also a little bit out of control. A new age is coming, and you're so afraid of it, and you're trying to hold it back, but you're not gonna be able to. Love his celebrity status here, and he's mentioning those, right, the new ones. Yuji, we have Todo and Yuji, and we do have the other one in the middle, who I do think is Okotsuru, or however he's being called. I'm sure we're gonna see that, and he's like, disrespect of the youth, which, yeah, I mean, generational conflict, right? You do have different ideas of what's right and what's wrong, different ideas of how to do things, and obviously there's gonna be somewhat of a clash of the old generation and the new one. And we do have that teaser coming up with this boy here, who's certainly not in the intro, sitting squatting right next to Yuji, confronting our I forgot his name, Mato or something, I don't know. Yeah, our potentially curse, probably not human, or at least curse user. And we do have Yuji with our mentor sensei dude here, probably gonna get to know him better next time in front of the cinema. And that was it, right? Yeah, I'd say we get into it. Well, we're gonna look everything up. I think 1 or 2 episodes in the future I probably want to look up like voice actors of the new people, because that's gonna be interesting when the tournament comes up. We're gonna be like, all right, who voices who, and if you know it, you can drop it in the comments down below. That either I'm gonna read it in 2 or 3 episodes when I actually do it, or I'm gonna read it in the comments, which is also cool, right? Voice actor information, I don't mind that. Drop it down here. They also voiced X, Y, Z, whatever. It's cool. I do love to see that, and also to learn to hear that properly, because sometimes you hear it and sometimes you don't. Just recently doing the Spice and Wolf review, I didn't hear it when we actually had the same voice actors, but that's because it's been quite a while since the anime aired, right? Been quite a while since we had any adaptation content in the Spice and Wolf genre, in the Spice and Wolf like series. But yeah, we'll get right into it. Check out my Discord, check out my Patreon, give me a like and subscribe, but more on that later. Right, Jujutsu Kaisen episode 9 starts in a 3, a 2, a 1. Oh, immediately you like the angle, right? With the shadows. Looking up at the sky. Very unique. Ooh. Backstory. Yoshino. I probably wouldn't. Okay. I probably would. Ooh, okay. That is a shot to start with. Creating humans. Okay. Oh yeah, it's a movie. Does he notice? No. And talking right during the movie. So he's a high schooler as well. Alright. Some people are just looking for trouble. Ooh, it's gonna get backlash for that, but... Right. But he's honest, right? It's building, right? What are we looking at? Ooh. Oh, he's done. Oh, I do wonder if this is before he becomes a Jujutsu sorcerer, actually. Maybe this is the first time he sees something like that. Looks like it for sure. I can't believe I didn't put that together until now. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about it. So this is his first brush with it. Interesting. Maybe this is 2 incidents. Or this is the one Yuji's actually investigating. Not really, but it's not right, right? 3 against 1, that's not nice. And there's a lot of negative emotions going on, so... Oh... He's playing for the other side? Maybe. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. Okay, cool. Interesting that he's like that Megumi is in the underground and that Nobara is at the open sky, and he is on a tower, right? Like a viewpoint, a vantage point. We talked about Yuji in the water before, so can mean a lot like submerged, still in a dream, right? He's sleeping in the intro, but also knee deep in water, right? The saying. Yeah, more and more people, and this is the two of them. So I do wonder if he's a sleeper agent or if this is him just getting to know this world and Yuji's gonna meet him and then they're gonna... Reverse retribution. And then we do have probably a cinema worker who found them. Yeah, bro believes in the supernatural.
見えますか？これが呪力の残影です。いや、全然見えない。それは見ようとしないからです。
Ooh.
当たり前のように呪いを視認しています。術式を行使すれば痕跡が残る。
No, reading the traces.
目を凝らしてよーく見てください。
His head is gonna explode. Ooh.
当然です。見る前に手配で悟
He turned into Batman. I've heard his voice before, like the blonde guy.
けなしもしませんよ。事実に即し己を律する。社会も同様であると勘違いしていた時期もありましたが、その話はいいでしょう。
Straight to the point.
そこそこで済むならそこそこで。
なんか噛み合わないな。
There's nothing.
でも安心して信用できる後輩呼んだから。脱サラ呪術師の七海健人君。
Kento.
言い方やめてください。
𝐿𝐴𝐷 man.
旧呪術師だし。
他の方もあなたには言われたくないでしょうね。
グラさん、目隠してる人多いな。なんで初めから呪術師になんなかったんですか？
Yeah.
はじめまして、虎杖君。
あ、はい。はじめまして。
私が高専で学び気づいたことは、呪術師はクソということです。
You all suck.
企業で働き気づいたことは、労働はクソということです。
They suck too.
同じクソならより適性のある方。出戻ったり。
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
くらいね。
私と五条さんが同じ考えとは思わないでください。私はこの人を信用しているし信頼している。
But
でも尊敬はしてません。上のやり口は嫌いですが、私はあくまで規定側です。要するに、私もあなたを術師として見。
alright. So how?
ていても、己は有用であるとそう示すことに。
And you gotta prove useful. Alright.
俺が弱くて使えないことなんて、ここ最近嫌というほど思い知らされてる。でも俺は強くなるよ。強くなきゃ死に方さえ選べねえからな。言われなくても認めさせてやっからさ。もうちょい待っててよ。
Ain't gonna click with him.
いえ、私ではなく上に行ってください。ぶっちゃけ私はどうでもいい。
はいはい。
Boy, I don't give a fuck. You just.
つってなかったんだよね。
ええ、被害者以外は少年が1名。
Alright. Young man could also be a suspect, right?
でもなくはないですが、そちらの特定は警察。
Ooh. Okay, what was that? More negative emotions.
Stop. こちらは私が片付けます。
You handle the other one. Yeah. Okay.
勝てないと。
It's so weird, like the designs.
ちょっと舐めすぎじゃない、俺のことは。
I do feel though like the weaker ones do seem less defined.
君は子供。私には君を自分より優先する義務があります。
I'm responsible for you.
使いなら舐め 出られた方が良かったよ。
Of
君はい
course.
くつか視線を超えてきた。でもそれで大人になったわけじゃない。お気に入りの惣菜パンがコンビニから姿を消した。
Old people stuff.
それが人を大人にするのです。
You gotta spend some more time to be an adult. Which, fair enough, right? We'll talk about that. Oh, I do like this track, right? They have a very unique, like, style of tracks.
どんな相手にも強制的に弱点を作り出すことができます。
Create a weak point.
出ることができればクリティカルヒット。私より
Alright.
もそれなりのダメージを与えることができますし、弱いものであればこの生倉でも両断できます。聞いてますか、虎杖君。
You're like, dude, what? I'm busy.
バラすことでミスリード
呪いに集中したいけど、話は聞かなきゃダメっぽい。
メリットはあります。手の内を晒すという縛りが術式効果を底上げするのです。こんな風に。
Alright, show me your moves, old man. We have light blue. Oh, I do like that with the goggles. The way it looks, right? It's being visualized. Like a video game almost. The reflection on the shoes, that was great.
私からは以上です。
そもそも頭身がぐるぐる巻きなのに、その上峰打ちでぶった切った。
虎杖君後ろ。
Pay attention, dude. Bro's still green.
感心しませんね。
Bro wants to drink some bleach. Alright, here we go, here we go.
ユージの呪力はさ、遅れてやってくるね。
Oh, Gojo has been kicking his ass.
追いついてない。呪力をとどめる。
Also, can this man not look
責任残りがち。
bad?
変則的な呪力の流れを作ってる。認識した直後に呪力がぶつかってくる。つまり一度の打撃に二度のインパクトが生まれる。
Ooh, okay. Double punch. Give him the old Itadori special. Ooh, of course. Of course he finds a cool name for it.
これは大きな武器になる。
素の力が人間離れしているのか、微力ながら波の術師の 120% 成立している。そこに流れ込んでくる本命の呪力、やられる方は想像以上に嫌でしょうね。 100% の体術に 100% の呪力を乗せられるようになれば、あの人が連れてきただけあるわけだ。
Yes, potential.
失礼、今とどめを。
Ooh, wild panel.
とどめは待ってください。これを見てください。
呪霊ってこういうの映んないんじゃ。
落ち着いて聞いてください。私たちが戦って
Are not curses.
人間だよ。
Turned humans.
人間と言った方がいいかな。
Oh, holy shit.
三人と同じだな。
Mm-hmm.
呪術で体の形を無理やり変えられてる。
それだけなら初めに気づけますよ。私たちが戦った二人には呪霊のように呪力が
Mm.
そればっかりは犯人に術式のことを聞くしかないな。
They're
ただの
almost indistinguishable from curses.
ここまでいじれるなら呪力を使えるように人間を改造することも可能かもしれん。
So I do wonder.
関係はまだまだブラックボックスだからな。虎杖は聞いてるか？
うっす。
こいつらの死因はざっくり言うと体を改造させられたことによるショック死だ。君が殺したんじゃない。
Yeah, don't feel guilty about that. But he will a little bit.
どっちもさ、俺にとっては同じ重さの他人の死だ。もうこれは趣味が悪すぎだろ。
この子は他人のために本気で怒れるのだな。そう
Okay.
なやり手です。
They're
これ
clever.
はそこそこでは済みそうにない。気張っていきましょう。
おう、
特級仮想音量、そう呼ばれる呪霊がいる。実在しなくとも共通認識のあるイフのイメージは強力な呪いとなって権限しやすい。
It's kinda like Chainsaw Man, I guess.
有名な妖怪や怪談ってことですか？
トイレの花子さんとかキュービの陽子とかいろいろ正体不明の強力な呪いもとりあえず仮想音量としてカテゴライズするあたり、それしか見えてないって感じだよね。でも人々が常に恐れているのはそんな音じゃないだろ。
There's vague concepts as well.
君との会話はストレスがなくて助かるよ。いや、そんな。
There's a lot of darkness in that boy. A lot of potential for him.
人々は大地を、森を、海を恐れてきた。それらに向けられた呪力は大きすぎるがゆえに、形を得る前に知恵をつけ、今まで息を潜めている。
Ooh, so we do have natural disaster curses?
誇らしい俺の仲間さ。
真人さんは何の呪いなんですか？
人間。俺は人が人を憎み、恐れたはず。
Ooh.
た呪いだよ。
Humanity, right? Very interesting.
失踪者、変死者、窓による残影の報告をまとめました。これである程度犯人のアジトが絞られます。
Question is there just one, right? One individual, or is it?
私は調査を続けますので、虎杖君には別の仕事を。映画館にいた少年、吉野純平。
Junpei Yoshino. Okay, nobody we've... Okay.
旧姓だそうです。彼が呪詛師である可能性は低いと考えていました。ただ、被害者と関係があるとなれば話は
Related or has seen something or whatever.
悪質な呪術師のことです。手順は伊地知君に任せてあるので、二人で吉野純平の調査をお願いします。
Okay.
そういや俺、伊地知さん以外の補助の人知らねえよ。
Haven't seen one yet.
君が生きてるって知ってるの私だけですから。
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
ある程度ではなく、もう分かっているんですよね。
もちろん、犯人はその気になれば残影なんて残さずに現場を立ち去れる。
But he left clues.
単身乗り込むリスクと虎杖君を連れて行くリスク、前者を選んだまでです。
Alright.
彼はまだ子供ですから。
ななみ先生、言い忘れてた。気をつけてね。
私は教職じゃないので先生はやめてください。
じゃあななみ、
引っ叩きますよ。
I will slap you.
あれ？私服？
本人はしばらく行っていないみたいですね。
He is troubled for sure. But I feel like he's the kind of person who would be swaying on either side, right? Not really inconspicuous, huh? What are those things? Let's see.
ななみ、お出かけしよう。
いえ、遠慮します。
He's so soon. This guy. Ooh. Idle Transfiguration. Interesting title and interesting preview. Might be seeing... I don't know his name. Mato, I think. Fighting. It wouldn't be the first time I named somebody wrong. So... apologies if that's the case, but we'll look over it. We'll see what's happening, and then we'll see what's happening for real, right? All right, let's talk about it, shall we? Let's get through it for a second. Again, I do love the shots of these angles, right? Because it's not a usual angle. You do see like it's probably midday because the sun is all the way up. The shadow of the building, in the shadow of the building, you do feel like you're standing in the shadow of the building looking up at the the side of the building that's being lit up by the scorching sun, and you do have that fence on the other side and the green. We get the real feeling that you're here, and we do meet Yoshino. And he's having some inner monologue, right? We do hear a little bit something about his motivation, which makes me believe maybe, I mean, obviously he can still turn out to be a bad guy, but maybe he's gonna be on our side, right? He's the person who could swing either way. If there was a button that would make everyone I hate die, I probably wouldn't push it. But if there was a button that would make everybody who hates me die, I would. It's very interesting. I mean, you do definitely do have hate for people like this, right? But maybe you don't hate them as much as you hate them hating you, right? Because the animosity is not coming from him. Human Earth 1-3 creating humans. With the syringe, I love it. And another one was just like dogs. And he seems very, very inside of his shell, right? Relatively meek, relatively not outward, not definitely not extroverted, definitely not being a person who is establishing his own will, right? Who is defending himself often. Now obviously we do see these cheerful sides of him, which is very interesting, because we do see glimpses of good in there, glimpses of just a normal boy who just wants to live his life, right? And have fun and whatever. And we do have these assholes. And at some point, right, he's apparently he got told by somebody, right, that he's been looking at her supposedly, maybe even by her herself, but she just wants to reconfirm her worth, right, by making all of these guys do this for her. That is for her a matter of, yeah, because I was the one in question, right? They sprung at the opportunity, and that is where she gets her self-esteem from, right? Her satisfaction, her own standing in society. At least this is what he is saying here, what he is surmising. She's just using me to see where she stands, and she's enjoying it, which, yeah, I mean, must have learned it from someone, right? Parents, right? Other people, right? Peers, whatever. These people are obviously happy to do so because she's a hot chick, and maybe they think they have chances with her and whatever. And these guys here, they seem on a similar line then, kind of like on a similar line as the other guys that were bullying him. I don't think it's the same ones. It doesn't seem that way, right? The way he reacts and whatever, he's just annoyed at the type of person it is, right? Being loud in the cinema, not letting other people not hear the movie properly or see the movie properly, and just disturbing everything around them because they think they own the world, basically. Not really, but right, they're not thinking about other people, right? We have Mato here, and this effect is so cool, him just supposedly just appearing out of nowhere. Yeah, I do wonder. He says later he is kind of representing the fear of humans have for, or the fear and hatred, the negative emotions humans have for one another, which is very interesting. Oh, they might actually be the same people. Okay. I mean, he's less hesitant and fearful in that regard. I didn't quite make the connection immediately that those are the people. I had the thought in the beginning. I was like, maybe all of this hatred and negative emotion that he's having, because at that time I didn't know in which time all of this plays. Maybe this has created Mato to begin with, right? And Mato was like a cursed creation of him, and then he enacted his revenge upon these students, and maybe there's been another incident with students in a cinema, and that has been the incident that Yuji is going to, but we are talking about the actual same incident. and Mato is just his own being, right? His own curse, and he can supposedly change people into monstrosities. There is still being alive and existing, but maybe mad and dazed and whatever, and almost indistinguishable from from normal curses, as we have seen later on. And he runs to him, he's like, did you do that? And he's like, is that a problem? He's like, can you teach me your ways? And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect this twist. But yeah, he has a lot of hatred, a lot of darkness inside there, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. Holy shit, a cigarette. Is that implying that they, right, burned into his skin with cigarette or something? It looks like it at the very least. Or maybe they just propped him up to let him look like he's a fucking delinquent or something after they beat him up. Either way, and the rain starts falling. You do have a lot of rainy weather in this series. Like, I do think, right, the way he looks in this shot, and I do think that's him, right? I do think that is him. So the way he looks in this shot feels like Yuji is probably gonna try to maybe get him on our side. We do have the police tapes, the rain. Again, so much rain, right? I mean, obviously, I do know there's rainy seasons in Asia especially, where it just constantly rains, but it's a mood setter, isn't it? And we have this guy, he's like, don't ask questions. And we do learn how to use, like, how to read cursed tracks, right? Almost like detective vision in the Batman Arkham games or whatever. And this guy, he's very eccentric, but also by the book. He's like, I'll do things the way I do. You gotta prove yourself. I don't joke around. But he's not that, right? He cares about people. He's just a Tsun. To a degree. Nanami Kento. Alright, 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴. And he was like, I had the talent, but I saw that all the Jujutsu sorcerers shit. And you're just like, what the fuck? Where did you pick this guy up? And he's like, and then I worked normally and I saw that it was shit as well. So I just went for the thing I can do better. And yes, I mean, sometimes that's just how it works, right? You think something is shit, you're discovering it, and then you're like going to the next thing, you see, okay, that's just as shit as the other one. What do I do now, right? And then you just move back to the other one because you were like, I mean, it was a little bit better. I at least I could do it properly, right? At least it worked and all that. But yeah, Gojo and Yuji are like, this dude, holy shit. And they're the goofballs, right? Gojo and Yuji, they're the goofballs. Always, or most of the time in a good mood. Obviously, deep down, there's a lot of serious emotions going on too, right? Yuji feels guilty, he feels sad, he feels responsible, he feels this huge weight on his shoulders, but outwards he is also a very cheerful guy, and that is what connects him kind of to Gojo, in my opinion. And we do the investigation, we look up and we see some curses, and we're fighting them, right? And he has this technique where he pinpoints a weak point or whatever, or he magically creates one or whatever, and he can kill some people. He's constantly talking to him, he's trying to teach him stuff. It's like, dude, can you stop? I try to concentrate on fighting that monster here. But yeah, some of these shots are amazing. Look at that, like the reflection of the water, the shiny boots, very distinct style, very cool. And like in a video game, like a finisher in a Persona game or some shit. And we are on, interestingly enough, that almost looks like it's like a baseball court or something on top of a rooftop, on top of the cinema. Interesting. Or maybe it's the next building over, I don't know. Either way, we do have some very funny animation, right? With him just blocking, and we see the wiggliness of the movement again, right? Out of focus, we spring into focus as we focus on Yuji, and he's trying to regain balance. Camera shake, right? And he slips on the water down there, and he's tumbling around. I do love how they do that. Really, really well done. You can feel it, and he's developing his own curses, and it's a little bit slow apparently. Your cursed energy can't keep up with your explosive power, so he does have that power, and yeah, he's still not good at amassing cursed energy, so it tends to lag behind. He's like, but that actually creates an irregular flow of cursed energy. Okay, so you're interrupting the flow, right? Your fist strikes, the cursed energy comes afterwards, right? Like you hit something and then the tidal wave comes. Really, really cool, and obviously he has a cool name for it. And I was like, can Gojo not look cool in anything? No, he always looks cool. That's just how it is, right? Bro is literally too cool for school, but yeah. We learn a little bit something again, piece by piece, and we do see, damn, curses don't show up on pictures normally. We've been killing humans, shit. And I think what she's doing here is really nice. She's like, look, you can't blame this on yourself. They were basically monsters at this point. The curse turned them and they were more or less dead already. Although, holy shit. Second time now. Although I am not sure if this is actually the case or if she's just saying it to make her feel better, make him feel better. But either way, it's a nice sentiment. And he sees like how Yuji can get angry on behalf of others, how his sense of justice is, right, and his empathy with other people. And it's just flooding, right? It's raining. And we're in the sewers just talking to one another here. Complete guide to Japanese apparitions. So we learned something new once again. We learned that Jujutsu sources mainly classify apparitions or classify curses based on what apparitions exist in mythology, because that is what people think of. And if you have a common fear or a common like target for hatred or whatever, right? Back in the day, you also put a lot of like the bad juju you had, the bad things that were happening to you on curses, right? Or on the gods, on whatever, right? On something, right? On oni, on demons and spirits and whatnot and folklore. And as a result of that, I do assume, and also modern thinking, right? You have common fears. There ends up being a lot of stronger curses that represent those emotions, those fears and whatever. And maybe the Jujutsu sorcerers are actually amplifying that, right? The fact that they often categorize powerful, unidentified curses as potential apparitions makes it feel like that's all they're focused on. But he points out there's other things, more vague things, right? Or grander concepts that actually exists in reality, but the fear of it exists as well. Natural disasters, right? The mountains, right? It's more, although with the mountains, it's more what happens when I'm on the mountain, right? There's landslides, there's thunderstorms happening there, right? There's cave-ins. And we're afraid of these things. Volcanoes, we're afraid of volcanoes, right? Breaking out. We're afraid of like natural disasters in the ocean, right? Drowning or tsunamis or whatever. Those are a little very undefined. And I guess when they accumulate to so many different concepts that are very close to one another and accumulate to one thing, because you're afraid of the ocean now. You're afraid to swim in the ocean because all the scary things, right? All the animals as well in the ocean and whatnot. And he is impressed, right? This is his senpai, basically. And he's like, humans have always feared, right? And now we do see that, right? Nature, the forest, which is Hanami, I think it was. We have, what was his name? Something with J. Jugo or something, like volcano, right? And we do have like probably the ocean is some kind of Cthulhu monster down there. Or maybe it's the squid thing we saw in the weird other dimensional space that that 𝐏𝐤𝐏 actually walked in a couple of episodes ago. But either way, he looks like Cthulhu. And he's like, I'm Mahito, that's his. Not Mato, but Mahito. Okay. A human one. Curse that was born from the hatred and fear people hold in their guts towards one another, right? This conflict, this human conflict is constant. This creating negative emotions, fear and hatred and whatever. You're afraid of being mugged or being taken advantage of. You're afraid of being like killed, right? R-worded. All of these things. This is human conflict. This is human hatred and sadness and emotion and fear. And we're following this guy, right? We got the name. It'll take me a little bit to get the name, but he's been briefing him here. He's like, all right, this dude, Yoshino, Junpei Yoshino. Okay. And I do wonder if he's gonna be a new first-year student, or if he's actually gonna be an antagonist, or if he's gonna be a sleeper cell. Either one of those is going to be interesting. Wonder what he's doing with these, but I'm guessing that this is either a way to see, like, does he react to the curses and see them, or maybe some kind of thing they have in their back pocket in case something goes wrong, right? Or it's maybe a tracking thing, and this is how they found him. Either way, really cool, really cool. Can't wait for the next episode. Let's check it out right here.